This demo is for Instant Pot Deconstructed Stuffed Peppers, my own experiment. In addition to your 6 or 8 quart Instant Pot, you will need a tool to break up the meat. That could be this handy little gadget or a hard spatula, a knife for cutting parsley, a tablespoon, a teaspoon, a can opener, and a wet measuring cup and a dry measuring cup. For ingredients, you will need some olive oil, 1 pound of ground beef, 1 medium onion, or that's about 1 1/4 cup or 1 heaping cup. You could also add a teaspoon of garlic in there, which I'm not using. For peppers, I'm using 3 large peppers. If you're using smaller peppers, use 4 medium or 5 small. 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 5 or 6 whole mushrooms, which I didn't have, so I'm using some dried mushrooms that I'm going to rehydrate, and a little bit of mushroom powder, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, 2 teaspoons of salt, half to 1 teaspoon of pepper, 1 cup optional smoked cheese, 1 1/2 cups of beef or chicken broth, 1 cup of Basmati rice, and some parsley. All right, let's get cooking. First of all, grab your Instant Pot, turn it on to saute, add some oil into the main pot, and we're going to saute the onions and the beef. But I haven't chopped up my onions yet, so I'm doing the fast forward here. While the onions are sauteing, you can chop up your peppers. You want these peppers to be in larger bite-sized pieces because they will shrink. So we're not looking for the fine diced, nice bite-sized square pieces. After all, they are the star of this dish. Keep giving your onions a mix in between so that they don't stick. And once they've sauteed down a little bit, add in your meat. This gadget from, I think it's Pampered Chef, that I got has really been an awesome tool for breaking up the meat. I'll leave a link below so that if you want to pick one up, I think there are other kinds. You can get them on Amazon. Once your peppers are chopped, chop up your mushrooms as well. I have to chop mine up very finely because my husband doesn't like mushrooms, so it's like a child. I am taking vegetables and hiding them in the mixture. In any case, add in the mushrooms to the meat mixture, saute for a minute, and then add your peppers to that. Now add in 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, you can also add in 2 teaspoons of salt and 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of pepper. Before mixing, I've just done some mixing first. When you're mixing, make sure that the tomato paste starts to get broken up. So now you're going to see me put the tomatoes on top and then the rice on top of that. It did come out just fine, but I think that it's best to put the rice on top of the mixture first, then put the tomatoes on top of the rice, and then the broth on top of that. So that's 1 cup of Basmati rice, then 1 can of diced tomatoes, then 1.5 cups of broth over top of that. If you end up putting the rice on top like I did, no big deal. Just take your hard spatula and push the rice down so that it is submerged in between the tomatoes and there's not really any on top. Then scrape your sides to get your onions down into the pot. Wipe the rim, make sure that you've got nothing sitting around in the pot like I do, pieces of rice that we don't want to impede the lid from sealing. So seal your lid, make sure it's on sealing, not venting, then pressure cook on high for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, give it 5 minutes of natural pressure release and then release the remainder of the steam. And you can now open your lid, have a little bit of a facial, and then give your mixture a stir. Because this is the first time I'm making it, I'm taking my spoon and just taking a look to see how much liquid. Did I use the right amount of liquid here? So there's a little bit of liquid at the bottom. It makes for a nice, creamy, juicy kind of rice dish. If you like it a little bit drier, you could try putting 1/4 cup less of the broth. Once you get the cheese in, though, if you're using the cheese, it's perfect. We just loved it. Mix the cheese in and then close the lid for a couple of minutes while you chop your parsley. And now it's ready to serve. I hope you enjoy.